My name is Randy Howell, and you're listening to the Faith and Fishing Podcast.
Welcome to the Faith and Fishing Podcast. I'm Cam.
And I'm Robert. In every episode, we're bringing you faith stories and fishing memories from some amazing members of the fishing community.
So join us as we shed a positive light on all things faith and fishing. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Faith and Fishing Podcast. I'm Cam.
Hey, and I'm Robert.
And we have an awesome episode for you this week. Before we jump into that, I did want to just cover a couple housekeeping things. First, I wanted to give a shout out to whatever individual is listening over in or at least listen to about 15 minutes or so over in Slovakia. I do keep track of that. And so I think that brings us up to 29 countries that we've been played in. So that's exciting. Hopefully it's actually somebody in Slovakia and not just somebody that's listening through a proxy and it just bounced off of.
It's a Slovakian bot who's listening to us probably. That's all right, though. We'll take it.
Probably. But yeah, man, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Busy as always. My kids' school ball's done, so we got a little break from that. One housekeeping note that I did want to touch on, just everybody out there, keep Alex Rudd in your thoughts and prayers as his father passed away from the cancer that he was battling. So I've been there on that one, and it's a pretty tough thing. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and just wanted to mention that as it's kind of been on my mind. So
absolutely. And I do want to give a shout out to Brandon Elrod also. I haven't forgot about you, brother. We are going to get you on the podcast. But thanks to you and the kayak cushion that you have created, I'm going to make it through this episode. I pulled a muscle in my back or something, and it is not fun sitting on this chair without it. But thanks to Brandon for that. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's dive into this episode, and we may talk a little bit longer after the interview, just because of timing stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's get our guest introduced.
Get Outdoors Pedal and Paddle is one of the largest canoe, kayak, and cycling retailers in the Southeast, with a huge selection of kayaks, canoes, bikes, and all the accessories needed to experience paddling and cycling comfortably and safely. Get Outdoors helps to expand and educate the paddling community through their free demos held on local lakes in the Greensboro, North Carolina area, and through in-store clinics and on-the-water courses and demos. And we'll even get your new boat rigged up for kayak fishing for you. Stop by the shop in Greensboro, North Carolina, or check out shopgetoutdoors.com to be wowed by their selection.
If a fly rod is your weapon of choice, check out Atollas. Their fly caddy is the most convenient way to get your favorite flies to the water, or just keep them handy by clipping it to your hat, truck visor, backpack, rod case, or just whatever. You can also bundle it up with flies from independent fly tires that Atollas has teamed up with through their Fly Light project. Choose from bundles specializing in redfish, carp, saltwater, or freshwater. Head over to atollas.co, that's ATOLLAS.co, to get your fly caddy today and use promo code FAITHANDFISH15 to save 15% on your order. That's faith the letter N, fish the number 15 at checkout for 15% off. All right. So anyone who's listened to this show before knows that I've got a soft spot whenever it comes to youth and children and any kind of ministry involving that, any kind of fishing involving young people. So whenever I was watching one of this young lady's live streams on Instagram, and she I think she was wearing a shirt that said like "I love God" or "I love Jesus" or something like that, and I was like, man, I need to get her on the show. And so she's out there taking kids fishing, and does it for a TV show called Their Life, My Lens. Her name is Chasten Whitfield. She is better known as Chastenation on Instagram. Chasten, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So to get us started off, kind of introduce yourself to our listeners. Tell us who Chasten Whitfield is.
I'm Chasten Whitfield. I am I am founder and owner of Chastenation, which is our nonprofit and 501c3, where we take differently abled kids out fishing. We give them and their parents a chance to relax and just focus on reeling in that fish, not the next doctor's appointment, not the next therapy session, nothing, just focusing on reeling in that fish and making sure it gets in the boat. And I also started a TV show called Their Life, My Lens, and it's kind of the same thing as Chastenation, but we show the abilities through the sport of fishing, not the disabilities of these kids. So yeah, they might be different, but they still have abilities just like we do. So that's pretty much what I do. It's all saltwater. I'm based out of Bradenton, Florida. I'm 23. I just graduated college last year. So it's not I just graduated anymore. It's I graduated college a year ago. Makes me feel
congratulations.
old, but thank you. I went to Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. It's called SCAD. I was on their bass fishing team. I got a tuition paid scholarship to be on their bass fishing team.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty weird, but also pretty cool. So I can't draw. I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? So I actually, I used to do, when I first started Chastenation back in 2016, when I was 16, we would make like little iMovie edit videos and whatnot. And I just always kind of liked showing like people, like everyone takes pictures and the parents and kids would be like, oh yeah, I remember that picture. But like when you see a video, it's like, oh my gosh, I remember every detail. Like, look at that. I never noticed that. Oh my gosh, that, like, I don't know. I just think video is so much, it just shows more. And I started doing little videos for them. And then when I got the scholarship to SCAD, I'm like, I'm not artsy whatsoever. I can't draw. What am I going to do? And I was like, oh, wait, they have a TV and film program here. And I walked into the TV and film building and fell in love. I saw all their equipment, all their like the little dollies and cameras, and they had like a green screen. And oh, it was so cool. I'm like, yep, this is my school. This is what I want to do. And I got to fish for them. So that was pretty cool.
That is awesome. So you used a word or a phrase at the very beginning there that I wanted to hit on because I absolutely love it, and I try to remind myself to use it more often. Differently abled. If we have any listeners who have not yet heard that phrase or is not sure what that means, can you kind of give us a breakdown of that?
Yeah. So I say differently abled because they're abled. It's just a different ability. They just have different abilities. So like I've taken some kids that have spina bifida. So they are disabled or handicapped, yes, but they are still able to do things. Like I took a little boy fishing this season. He was episode 1 of season 2, and he had spina bifida, and he actually got out of his wheelchair and started crawling around the boat, and it freaked me out. And his mom's like, oh, he does this all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, if he falls in, she's like, oh, he can swim. I'm like, okay. But it was just so cool because his legs might not work, but he still works around that, literally. And in my show, we fish, and then we also do like a little interview section where like we talk about the trip and like we talk about I like to talk about what the kid taught me, because these kids help me more than I help them. I just put them on fish. They help me with like life and like understanding that like it's the little things, and to take everything like for like, don't take everything for granted. Like it is just it, you have to see it or take one of these kids fishing. It is absolutely mind blowing on what a 6-year-old can teach you in a day fishing. But anyways, in our interview, I was like, I heard it in a podcast the other day. It said, we all have wheelchairs. It might not be like a physical wheelchair, but we all have a wheelchair in our life, something we struggle with or something we need to help us. And his name is Bryce, and Bryce is in a literal wheelchair. So people look at him and go, oh, poor kid's in a wheelchair. And he's like, heck yeah, I'm in a wheelchair. I can move. Without this, I wouldn't be able to move. So like we all have our little wheelchair with us. And we actually named the episode Vehicles of Freedom, because people think he's confined to a wheelchair, but it's like, no, this helps me be free. This helps me do my own thing. Like I can go to the bathroom, I can wheel myself to the bathroom. I can wheel myself over here. Like I just thought that was, I don't know, it's just super cool that like a 12-year-old just taught me that. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is kind of cool once you get into dealing with differently abled people. You guys taught me a new phrase because I was not aware of that, but that's pretty cool. I grew up with my mom teaching autistic and then sometimes severely handicapped for almost 20 years. And a lot of times she would bring her work home because those parents had a hard time finding people to babysit, basically.
Oh, yeah.
So, I grew up as a kid around differently able people all the time. And it's always blown my mind how, a lot of times their minds and stuff work the same way ours do, just their bodies will not do certain things. But,
Yeah.
Just you watch other people and how they react around them. And it is truly awesome what you're doing and getting them out there and them able to experience something and to show people that, hey, all these guys, they're just like us. I mean, they are. I mean, I've got things that I absolutely suck at. And, sometimes I don't know. It's just always been cool to me for people that highlight those things of the differently able people. So my hat's off to you, and to be such a young adult and doing something that is so impactful is amazing. So that's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. When did you start Chastenation?
2016, but legally 2018 is when I got the nonprofit 501c3 on my 18th birthday, because I'm a big wild person. I did nonprofit paperwork and got my captain's license in the same week. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I started taking the kids out fishing in 2016, but didn't start the nonprofit till 2018. So it's kind of like figuring it out for 2 years until I hit 18.
So at 16, you came up with the idea of taking these kids out fishing and stuff, or at least you started doing it. I don't know when you came up with the idea, but that's whenever you started putting it into action. And like, I think about myself at 16, like I was not thinking that much about other people. Not even a little.
Yeah, it goes way, way back. So when I was, oh gosh, I think I was fifth grade. Sorry, I was in fifth grade. And Hurricane Katrina came through and hit Haiti. And I saw Red Cross on the TV and the mom and a baby saying we haven't had water in 3 days. So I grabbed my piggy bank that had like all of $4 in it, ran up to my mom and said, let's go smash it and give it to Red Cross. So she was like, okay. So she took me to Red Cross. They saw me with the thing. They're like, hold on. So they called the newspaper down and they were like, this little girl is going to give her money to from her piggy bank to Red Cross. Like, so they did a little article on me. And when I saw the TV the next day, it had everybody handing out water. So I immediately thought in my little like 8-year-old brain, I was like, oh my gosh, we did that. I did that. That's my money. I put water in their hands. That is so cool. They're eating now. And then one of my good friends, she was diagnosed with, I don't remember what stage, but I believe it was leukemia. And she was going to, was about to go to St. Jude's. And my parents were researching that with my friend's parents, and we were figuring everything out. And the next day, when she was supposed to have the surgery to get everything taken out, hopefully, they went in and they're like, there's nothing here. Like, everything just disappeared. Like, it's gone. She's good. So I had St. Jude's in my mind, and I'm like, okay, well, I helped Red Cross. I helped feed Haiti in my little 8-year-old brain. I'm like, I fed Haiti. I can do anything now. So then we started raising money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital in 5th grade. And I had a little garage sale. We were selling oranges, my Hannah Montana poster. I was selling everything I could to help St. Jude's. And then middle school hit, and you know how middle school is. Kids suck. So all my friends were cheerleaders. So I'm like, okay, I need to be a cheerleader too. So I was not the best cheerleader. Went on to high school. No, not my thing. Girls are so mean and they eat you alive. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is not going to get me anywhere in life. I need to do something different. And I live on the water. My backyard is a canal. So my mom's like, hey, why don't you do this fishing tournament? You haven't fished in a while. Grab a couple of your girlfriends and go. I'm like, okay, we got nothing to lose. We got first. So we're 14 years old at this point, and I'm like, what are we gonna do with this money? It was like $300, 3 of us, $100 a piece. I'm like, I get an allowance, I'm good. Y'all want to give it back? And they're like, okay. So we gave the money back to the charity. So then I started doing that beginning of high school, like 14, 15, 16 years old. And we had an all-girls team. There were 5 of us in my little boat, and we would fish tournaments and give the money back to charities. So once that started happening and like people started recognizing and seeing what we were doing, it was just kind of like a snowball effect. And that's when the bullies and the kids making fun of me kicked in. Mainly boys, which is whatever. But they were like, you're never going to make it in the fishing industry. A girl's not going to make it in the fishing world. And blah, blah, blah. So I actually got contacted by a couple of church groups, a tackle store, some Boy Scout, Girl Scout groups. And they asked if we could go around and teach them how to fish, but also throw in some life lessons. So I would have a cast net and put candy on the floor, and the kids would catch the candy. So I gave them candy, but I also snuck in vegetables at the same time. So they would literally be catching candy, and I'd be like, hey, has anybody ever made fun of you for doing something that like you love to do, but they said it's weird and you shouldn't do it? Well, guess what? You're put on this planet to do what makes you happy, not what makes anybody else happy. So that's when I met Easton, who has spina bifida. He was 4 years old, and I was teaching a fishing camp. And he rolled up doing a wheelie. He wheelied up to the pier, and he was the only one catching fish on that pier. And I'm like, dude, I have to take you in a boat. And he's like, I've never been in one. I don't fit. And I'm like, hold that thought. My boat at the time couldn't fit him. So I found a friend who had a boat who could fit a wheelchair. So we took him fishing on July 4th, 2016. And here we are. Long story short.
That is amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I blame Easton for all this, and we still hang out to this day. I just had a Chastenation fundraiser, and he was the little dude wheeling around with the tickets wrapped around him like a scarf, and everybody was buying the raffle tickets off him. And he's now 11 years old, and we met when he was 4. That makes me feel so old, but it's fine.
I know the feeling. I have students that I worked with when I was a youth pastor, and they were in middle school, and they're married with kids now. So, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. These kids, they're growing up. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you're so old. And they look at me and I'm like, don't you dare say it back. I'm like, I know you're thinking it. Don't say it. It's fun.
It only gets worse. I hate to burst your bubbles.
So excited. So excited.
All right. So that's the story of Chastenation, which is one of the best ones ever told on the podcast.
Thank you.
Tell us your faith story. Kind of give us an idea of what it is that you believe in and how you came to believe that.
Yeah. So this is another long story short. So when I was in college, it was my freshman year. I was fishing for SCAD's fishing team. And there was some drama that was happening with the older kids that were there before us. They were 2 grades above us freshmen. So their first year, there was some stuff that went on and went down. And I guess it just kind of lingered and the school didn't really know what to do. So finally, the school got tired of it and said, we're done. No more fishing team. Y'all are done. And like I said, I'm not artsy, so I'm not there on a painting scholarship. So I started freaking out. I had no idea what to do, what was going to happen, what was going on. I thought I was going to have to leave SCAD because I think I was one of the couple freshmen that actually liked their major. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to go back to Florida. My life's over. Fishing team, poof, gone. What am I going to do? I need a degree. Like, I want to have a show. Like, I need to get this going. And they wouldn't tell us after the team got cut. So I was in like freak out mode for about 2 weeks, which was in the middle of finals. That was fun. And at the same time, my boyfriend broke up with me. And my mom was going through stage 2 breast cancer and going through chemo. So it was just like I got shot in the head twice and the heart once. Like it was just boom, boom, boom. And the boyfriend who broke up with me, he actually brought me to church in Savannah, Georgia. And I was very like, I've been to church like once or twice and I just cried the entire time. And I was like, nope, I'm not it. I just cry. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, I don't like it. It's uncomfy. I'm not going to do it. So he actually brought me to church and that was cool. And I started making new friends. I'm like, okay. I started understanding things a little more. And then he broke up with me and I kept going to that church and he went to a different one. So that was mine, I guess. And because I kept calling my mom every day and I'm like, I'm gonna be home, like school's over, like that's done, Savannah, it's done. And she's like, go to church, make new friends. So my friends actually took me to go get a Bible. And then that's when I started asking about being baptized. I'm like, so now that I have a Bible, I need to be baptized, right? And like, whoa. You need to like, hold on, do some small steps, figure out what you like, what you don't like, and this and that. And I was like, okay. So then finally I was just like, it was just one day we were just sitting in church and everything. It was like literally the week after the team got cut and then mom started chemo and the boyfriend thing. I was just like, you know what? I quit. Like, I'm done. God, take this. I'm over it. I obviously can't do this. So I'm done. Like, I'm not going to worry about it. Whatever happens, happens. And we'll figure it out from there. Like 2 days later, they call us back into the athletic building. And they're like, the freshmen that were on, or anybody that was on scholarship, you guys get to keep it because we pulled it out from underneath you. Thank goodness. So I got to keep my scholarship. So I went to SCAD for 3 more years and did my own little major league fishing and FLW and the Bass Opens and all that. And mom started getting better and her chemo was almost over. And here we are today. And I got baptized April 21st of last year. And it was the coolest stinking thing I've ever done because I did it right in the past where we were catching tarpon yesterday. And it was really cool. One of my friends, when COVID hit, I came back to Bradenton, and SCAD college was online and all that. So I started doing a Bible study, and I met some friends in there. And one of my friends, she baptized people. I'm sorry, I'm still learning. I don't know the correct name or term, but she was like, do you think you're ready to get baptized? I'm like, no, I have to like do all. And she's like, you don't have to. Like, when you know, you know. And I was like, you know what? I think I am. I think I am ready. So we went to Longboat Pass, and I got baptized there. The water was cold, but when I came up, my mouth was on fire. Like, it was hot. And I looked at her, and were like, woo. And I'm like shaking, but my lips, I'm like doing this. I'm like, oh my God, why is it hurt? Why is it hurt? And she looked at me and she goes, that is God saying, I'm going to use your word. I'm going to use you, and you're going to talk about me, and you're going to spread my word through what you're doing. And I lost my mind. I was like, no way. And she's like, it makes sense, doesn't it? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, my lips are literally burning with the word of God. And she goes, exactly. And it was the craziest thing, but so cool. And it hurt really bad, but it was a good hurt. But it was just super cool. So ever since then, season 1 of my show was already done at that time. So when we started season 2, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start talking about God a little more. And I don't pull out a full Bible and start reading scripture. I just like throw a little piece here and there. And this season, almost every single parent has mentioned their faith and God in every episode. And we've had 8 episodes. And every parent just about mentioned faith or God at least once.
God is good at what he does.
Yeah, it is so cool. So, sorry, long story short.
That is awesome. Well, before we jump into our What's Your Favorite segment, there's 2 questions that we always ask. The first one is, what fishing story or memory means the most to you?
When I first started taking the kids fishing, I think I was 17, and I took this little boy named Hunter out, and he had, I can't pronounce it at all. It's where his bones were deteriorating. So like part of him was metal. I called him the robot boy, and he was like, yeah, I'm Iron Man. And he was on the front of the boat. We were catching big snook. Like his mom and I were catching snook in the back, and I turn around, and he's just like up on the deck of the front of the boat with his arms out and the breeze blowing in his shirt. And I lost my mind. Like, it was, I looked at his mom, and she goes, he's loving this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, I actually, like, I can see, like, when I first started, I was just fish, focus on the fish. And I see the kid catch a fish. I'm like, good job. Perfect. Awesome. And then he goes up there, and I'm like, we're catching slot snook. And this kid's up here going, oh, the breeze. I'm like, this is exactly what it's about. He's on Make-A-Wish. And I asked the mom, I was like, because I've heard of it, but I didn't really know. And she's like, yeah, his last wish is to go to Hawaii, and we're going next month. And that's when it clicked. And I was like, oh, okay. So just seeing him feel like not normal, but like typical, he was just relaxed. You could just see him let go of everything, and he was just relaxing, taking it all in. Yeah, he caught some fish, but it's just crazy seeing like an 8-year-old just chill and just stop and not have to worry about anything. I will never forget that.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And that is what it's all about. It's pretty cool that you're like, oh yeah, we got to catch fish. And then he is just totally content with being at the front of the boat and just, enjoying the moment. And it has really not a whole lot to do with the fish, but
yeah.
I guess this is the next question we always ask, and it'll probably be a little bit different for you because when you're out, probably a lot of the time now you're probably filming or you're actually working. But we always ask, what type of conversations do you have when you're out fishing? So maybe you can go back to when you're fun fishing, or you can attack that question however you like. But what is your normal conversation center around?
Honestly, when I'm fun fishing, I'm alone. Because excuse me. I don't know. When I'm like, I do the fishing show, but I also give the parents and the kid an option to just do the Chastenation trip, which is just us fishing. It's an entire afternoon just to them. They can do whatever they want, but the show's more focused on the fish and the story. And if they don't feel comfortable being on or sharing their journey or story, then we just do a Chastenation trip. But when we do just Chastenation trips and there's no cameras around, it's a lot about like how they've like gotten through, like how they have overcame the obstacles that has been thrown at them. And it's a lot of I've noticed this a lot lately, is people talk about the past a lot. Like they're like, oh, I remember when blah blah blah, and like a lot of people are like, I used to go catch crappie and bluegill with my grandpa, and like this kind of reminds me of that. So it's either like they talk about how they got in the boat, or like leading up to the boat, or they talk about, oh yeah, I used to do this back in my day, and this and that, and this lure. And I'm just like, what'd you call me? I don't know what. That's freshwater stuff. Hold up, I only did a little bit of that. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a lot of like stories and like journeys about literally how they got to the boat.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, we're going to thank a couple sponsors, and then we are going to jump into our What's Your Favorite segment, and we'll do it like a lightning round for you. But yeah, we will take care of that right after this. If finesse fishing is your comfort zone, something you want to learn better this year, or just something you like to tie on as a Hail Mary pass, Jade's Jigs has everything you need and more, and it's all eco-friendly and lead-free. With an awesome selection of baits and colors, they've got a variety of techniques covered for you. Finesse jigs, underspins, Nico weights, Ned rigs, and more are all waiting for you at jadesjigs.com. And while you're there, use promo code FNF10 for 10% off your purchase. That's jadesjigs.com and promo code FNF10 for 10% off. Few things ruin your day on the water as bad as losing gear. But with the retrieval devices for fishing rods, action cams, bow fishing bows, and more from Save Your Outdoors, you don't have to let dropping your stuff ruin your day, because you can get it back. The pressure-sensitive filter keeps water from rain and quick dips in the water out, but it lets water in when your gear goes overboard to release a float attached to your gear by 60 feet of line so you can get it back. Go to SaveYourOutdoors.com to learn more and try some for yourself, and use promo code FNFP15 to save 15% on your order. That's SaveYourOutdoors.com and promo code FNFP15. All right, so Robert, you ready?
Yeah, why don't you go just read the questions for the lightning round, because I won't do them in the right order, and I don't have my thing in front of me. So you roll with the lightning round.
All right. So Chasten, what is your favorite scripture?
Oh, I don't know the number or the name, but it says, when I am in rough waters, always know that I am here. Or when you go through rough waters, I am here. It's on my dip net. I have it on my bait net.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, you're putting me under pressure. I think I have it on my wall. So, I don't. But it's that one.
Okay, awesome. What about your favorite Bible story?
Oh man, I just heard one the other day. I was watching a sermon. Come back to me on that.
Okay. All right. Your favorite fish to catch?
Tarpon.
Your favorite fish to fish for?
Tarpon.
Your favorite fish to eat?
No, I'm kidding. I like hogfish.
Okay, absolutely. I've heard good things about it. I haven't had it yet.
They don't have a bloodline, so it's not like super, like not gamey, but there's like a more airy taste to them, so they're not like super fishy.
Okay, absolutely. Sorry, this is supposed to be a lightning round. How do you like your hogfish cooked?
Grilled.
Nice. All right. So, your favorite fishing snack?
Cold fried chicken.
Cold fried chicken.
That's a first.
Go to Publix or Walmart, get the fried chicken, and all you gotta do is just bloop right in the boat and eat it whenever. Ooh, or Chick-fil-A. Anything with chicken.
All right. So going back to cold fried chicken here, I have to know, what is your favorite piece of chicken?
The drumstick.
The drumstick. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Like the big one. It's like one bone, but it's got all the meat. Yeah, that one. It's easier to eat.
For sure. All right. So I don't need GPS coordinates or secret spots or anything, but what's your favorite body of water to fish?
Well, I'm right between Sarasota Bay and Tampa Bay, so those.
Nice.
If I go to my right, it's Tampa Bay. If I go to my left, it's Sarasota. So I'm like in the weird little like intersection of those two.
All right. Your favorite lure to throw?
When I was in college, we would fish North Carolina a bunch, and well, the Carolinas in general, and rattle trap. It was, wow, I haven't been bass fishing in a while. It was like a crawfish color. It was red and orange, stuff like that. Yeah, that was fun. Those things are cool. I don't throw that many artificials saltwater wise. So bass is all that, because I will not touch a worm. You cannot pay me enough to touch a worm.
That's awesome. Yeah, Robert and I are in North Carolina, so we'll have to tie on a rattle trap sometime. And the lipless has never been my comfort zone, so we'll see if we can make that. We can change that.
Oh, yeah. I love rattle traps. Rattle trap is a oldie but a goodie, but you can definitely wear some fish out on it, because I think a lot of people don't throw it anymore, so it does give the fish a different look. So I like it every once in a while.
Yeah, and everyone in college said I was too nice to the fish. I have to set the hook more. And with those, like, or even like jerk baits, I don't, like, you're already doing it and it just like, oops, I got a fish. So I'm not like breaking my back trying to get it. I feel bad. I'm going to hurt it.
I hear you. All right. So your favorite time of year to fish? Summer. Absolutely. And going back to it, your favorite story from the Bible?
Okay. So I was watching I believe it's called The Chosen. I was watching a little clip. I got stuck in a YouTube black hole, and I found one of them. And it was the story of when Jesus went up to a water well. Excuse me. And there was a girl giving out water. And he was like, "Can I have some water?" And she like gave some attitude back. And they were going back and forth, and he was like, "No, I am him." And he started explaining like everything, and she kept saying, "No, no, no, yeah, right, yeah, right." And he told her life, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I will do whatever you want. Like, oh my gosh, I will spread your word, yes." And I don't know, I just thought that was super cool, because I kind of, like, that's kind of how I felt when I first found God. I was like, you know what? No, this is just me crying. It's just like ironic that they're talking, like my grandma passed away at the time, first time I went to church, and they were talking about losing loved ones and them being better up there. And I'm like, you know what? No, this is just ironic. It's fine, whatever. And then they kept going, and then it kept feeling like it was just like doing one of these things. Like it just kept poking me. And I'm like, okay, this is getting a little weird now. Like this is getting too on the point. And at that point, I was just like, okay, yep, that it's like, just tag me next time. Just say my name in the sermon. Just say, Chasten, listen. And I don't know, I felt I can really relate to that one story.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to start winding down so that you can get off of here. But kind of let us know, what do you have coming up next?
Next, I am we just finished season 2 last week. So I am just now kind of chilling at the moment and starting to find some more kids for season 3. So I am getting ready for iCast as well, which is in July. So we're going to see about some new sponsors possibly jumping on. We're going to have some more kids. And next season is going to be even bigger and better than season 2. I said that about season 1 for season 2, but now season 3 is going to be even better than season 2, because now I know what the show's capable of, and I know how to take it one step further. So we're going to have even more kids. Hopefully we'll have some traveling involved. We'll have more networks. We'll have more sponsors. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have more opportunities for these kids and the families to go out and fish, even if it's like a little vacation for the entire family. It's going to be amazing. So if you know of anybody or any companies that would like to support the show, or by the show I mean these kids really, and help share their story, let me know, because we are always open for ideas and help.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I wanted to give you an open floor to shout out any sponsors, supporters, anybody you want to say thank you to. The floor is yours.
Oh gosh. Okay. Season 2 sponsors were Under Armour, Fenora Glasses, Pin, Spiderwire, SeaDeck, Yellowfin, Mercury, Power Pole. Waypoint TV is where the season 2 is. Same with Destination America, Pursuit Channel, and Carbon TV. So if you want to watch some of the episodes, the first 4 are up right now. The second 4 are about to start airing. And let's see. I'm trying to picture my boat in my mind right now and name off Lowrance Motor Guide. Sign Zoo, people who wrapped my boat and truck. Chevy, they donated. Oh my goodness, I had another. There's a lot of amazing companies that have helped me this season, and it's just been so great. And hopefully next year we can expand that and keep the same ones, or just where I want to be the first fishing show on Netflix. That would be awesome. Last year, I was the first and only female fishing host of a TV show, of a fishing show, period. So that was pretty cool. So now I'm like, okay, I want to go big or go home. So might as well. I don't know how to sit still. So I'm like, let's just keep it going. Let's just keep it going.
Heck yeah. And I wanted to give you a chance to plug your socials. Let everybody know where they can follow you, where they can find you. You've already let us know where we can watch the show, but website, if somebody wants to reach out and book a trip with Chastenation, all of that good stuff, let us know. Yeah,
so all my social media, every single one of them is Chastenation. It's ChastenAtion. So just one N. And Instagram Chastenation, Facebook Chastenation. My website is chastenation.com, and it has all the information on there. I also have a website for Their Life, My Lens. So it's more of the TV side of things, like all the sponsors and how to watch the show exactly. And then Chastenation's mainly for the nonprofit and getting in touch with the kids and the families. And then that's where we ask them, do you want to be on TV, or do you just want to do a normal show or a normal fishing trip? And then we go from there. So Chastenation would probably be the first step. That would be the easiest website to go to first.
Awesome. Well, Chasten, thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been a phenomenal one. And I I'm just wowed by what you're doing. Love what you're doing. We'll have to have you back on the show sometime to actually talk some fishing, because we didn't do much of that this one, but it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
so much.
Definitely appreciate you coming on. Thank you. And second that to have you back on when we have a little bit more time to talk about fishing. And one last question, because you remind me so much of Christine Fisher. Do you follow her? Do you know her?
Yes.
Do you know who she is?
Yes.
Because you guys could be, you could be her little sister, because all your mannerisms and really the way that you present yourself, she presents herself very well, and so do you. And you guys are both great ambassadors for women in the sport of fishing. So great job on that as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we try to have like we call it a girl fishing gang meetup. Cause a couple of my friends and I from college, we made a girl fishing gang Instagram page. So we just help encourage girls, because there's not a lot of us out there. So when we're fishing tournaments, it's hard to you can't just text your friends and be like, hey, I'm fishing a tournament, pray for me. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, what should I throw? Like, these boys are staring at me. Your friends are going to be like, are you talking English? Like, what's going on? So we made that page to have girls contact us and be like, hey, I'm fishing a tournament and this guy keeps giving me a dirty look. And we're like, all right, so this is how you handle. No, I'm kidding. But then we were like, hey, wish so-and-so good luck. They're fishing a tournament next week. She's the only girl, blah, blah, blah. So we actually have meetups at every fishing event. So like Bassmaster Classic, we have one. ICAST, we have one. We try every big fishing event. So it's pretty cool. We've met a lot of girls, and each year it keeps growing, and we have more girls. Like when I first started in 2016, I went to ICAST by myself. I'm like, I have no friends. This is cool. And then by 2018, when we made this account, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 5 of us. Oh, I have friends. This is awesome. And then last year we had almost 20 girls show up.
Awesome.
It was so cool. It's so cool seeing more girls get comfortable in the fishing industry, because we're not looking to take it over. We just want to fit in. We just want to sit next to you at the captain's meeting. So.
Yeah. Awesome.
That is awesome. Well, again, Chasten, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. We'll have to do it again, and we can talk all fishing, mainly hard.
Sounds good.
Mr. B Lure Company is making high-quality, handcrafted lures and has been for 30 years, right here in the U.S. Using all-metal components, Owner and Gamakatsu hooks, and silicone or frog hair skirts, Mr. B is pumping out some awesome spinner baits, jigs, buzz baits, underspins, and more, including some of the most unique bladed jigs on the market. To fill up your tackle box, go to MrBLureCompany.com, that's MRBLureCompany.com, and use promo code FaithAndFishingPod1X10 at checkout to save 10% on your first order. That's Faith the letter N, Fish the letter N, P-O-D, so Faith and Fishing Pod, just like our Instagram handle, 1X10.
A huge selection and crazy fast shipping is already enough to turn heads as an online tackle shop, but Omnia Fishing sets themselves apart with their ambassador program. With Omnia, you can send in fishing reports for your local lakes that recommend baits, structure, tactics, and gear. And when another angler takes your advice and purchases something from your report, you get credit for it to spend at Omnia. The best part means that with Omnia Fishing, you can shop by lake and purchase baits and gear that are proven to work where you're fishing. To get started, go to OmniaFishing.com and use promo code FNF15 to save 15% on your first order.
Another huge thank you to Chasten for coming on the show and sharing her story with us, and talking about what she's doing with Chastenation and Their Life, My Lens. Robert, I didn't even think about it until you said something, but she even sounds like Christine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like the mannerisms and kind of the way they, even like their speech pattern, or you just like I said, how they present themselves. It's like they're cousins or sisters or whatever, but truly impressed with what she's doing. And like I said, not only, great ambassadors for women in the sport of fishing, but just great ambassadors for the sport of fishing in general. So yeah, absolutely. And to be doing the things that she's doing, and just kind of the professionalism at such a young age is a great thing to see for our sport in the future. So pretty cool.
And, she said she was talking about how she came, like how she saw Katrina on TV and how that kind of like pulled at her heart. And, I was reminded, I was 13 when 9/11 happened. And I remember watching that on TV in school. And that was the first time I remember truly caring about what was happening to somebody that I never met, that I didn't know.
Right.
So it's amazing how similar stories can be of how we came to like feel for others.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, she's got an absolutely awesome story. And I mean, she's using it in such an awesome way, which is just so cool. What are some of your takeaways from this episode?
Basically that I need to do more than what I'm doing. But that is something that you see people doing things at such a young age. And it's inspiring for you to get out and to do things, and to think about the way that we all treat or view other people, whether they have disabilities or whether it's your next door neighbor. We all can use a dose of humility and in the way that we treat others, and just treat them the way we want to be treated. So that's what I take away from it is, just respect everybody around you and the world we live in at the moment. And I don't see it really getting any better, just with social media and people can make comments and have no consequences for them, basically. And it's just a lot of times a very cold world that we live in. And, so I think everybody could learn a little bit about the way we treat and view other people.
Absolutely, man. I wanted to ask also, we were on a bit of a time schedule, so I didn't spend too much time in the intro, but I wanted to ask you, have been doing any fishing lately?
So I snagged a couple of fish today at the pond at work. Nothing of any size, but they were all on topwater popper, so that was fun. But other than that, we did do the Reeling for Research tournament. I guess now it's been 2 weekends ago, and we did not catch any fish for the tournament, but we did do some bottom fishing afterwards, and so I was able to land a citation triggerfish, which is pretty cool. And then my buddy that was on the boat also landed a citation triggerfish, and so that was pretty funny how all that went down. But long story long, he was using an electric reel. I switched to the electric reel, and then all of a sudden he's cranking them in on a manual reel and just getting fish after fish. And I can't catch any on the electric reel because I don't feel like I could feel them on there. So then we switch again, and then he's reeling them up on the electric reel. And finally I hook one on the, regular reel, and like I get like 10 cranks into it, and I yell across the boat. I'm like, dude, how have you been reeling these things in? I mean, he's smaller than I am, but he was reeling me like nobody's business. And man, it was whooping my butt. And I finally got it up to the surface and realized one of them was that citation trigger, which I think was like 6 pounds, 9 ounces. and then I was doubled up with another like 4-pounder on there. So I was battling 2 of them, which made me feel a little bit better when they got to the top, to see that there was 2. But I didn't understand how he was just, reeling them right up, and then it was they were kicking my butt. So, but that was pretty fun. It's pretty fun to get a citation sized fish out there. So that's it. What about you?
Yeah, I was able to take the kayak out last week after work and paddled a creek. And there's access to Crabtree Creek less than a mile away from work, and it was kind of like I could have been doing this for about 5 years now, and I'm kind of frustrated I hadn't done it yet. Wish I knew this was here a long time ago, but didn't catch anything. Had a few that came and swiped at it as I was taking it out of the water, little guys, but didn't catch anything of size. Did paddle past some multi-million-dollar homes that just was like, this is not what I'm used to. And then this weekend, my dad came up and we took Henry fishing. So we had 3 generations of steels out there fishing, and caught between the 3 of us, we caught 6 or 7 that ranged from that big to a little bit smaller than my hand. Cool. So that was fun. Henry was able to, he was holding the rod whenever he got a bite, and the rod was in his hand the whole time until it came up, and he did most of the reeling. So
that's
the only
awesome.
thing he didn't do was cast it. So, he had a blast, and he stuck with it for an hour and a half before he was done. So, that's the longest he's ever made it fishing. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I just wanted to make sure that we got a chance to talk what kind of fishing we've done lately, and because mainly I just wanted to make sure that everybody heard that triggerfish story. But yeah, man, you want to close us out in prayer?
Yeah, man, sure will. Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us help get your word out. Please watch over us as we tackle the week ahead of us, and let our words and actions bring people closer to you. Also, please be with the Rudd family and in their time of need, and comfort them. And as we move forward, please watch over everybody on the water and let them return safely to their loved ones. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, man. You want to sign us out?
Yeah, man. Hey, you guys join us next week for another great episode. I'm Robert.
And I'm Cam. Y'all take care and God bless. Thank you for listening to the Faith and Fishing podcast. Faith and Fishing is produced and hosted by Cam Steele and Robert Randolph, and is sponsored by Savior Outdoors, Jay's Jigs, Get Outdoors Pedal and Paddle, Mr. B Lure Company, Atollas, and Omnia Fishing. Don't forget to join the Facebook community, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe, rate, and review us on whatever app you're listening on. That's going to do it for this episode. Y'all take care, and God bless.